Welcome, fitness friends. In this video, let's go over 10 different benefits of intermittent fasting. Now, if you're not sure what intermittent fasting is, all it means is that you're cycling between periods of eating and not eating. For example, a real popular protocol is called 16-8, where you fast for 16 hours and then you take in all your calories within an 8-hour eating window, and you would do that intermittently, like 2 or 3 times per week. Another really popular strategy is just to fast for 24 hours, say once or twice a week. And there really are so many health and obviously weight loss benefits to intermittent fasting. So let's go over the first benefit right now. The first one is weight loss, obviously. And you're gonna lose weight for multiple reasons. But a real obvious reason is you're gonna be just reducing calories. For example, if you don't eat for 24 hours once a week, just think of how many calories you eliminated from your diet. Right? For example, when most people only give themselves an 8-hour eating window, say we're doing 16-8, they're definitely going to be eating less. Most people just don't eat anywhere near as much food when they're giving themselves a smaller eating window. Now, the second benefit is fat burning. When you're in a fasted state, you're dipping in the stored energy like body fat, carbohydrates too, and you're burning them. Okay, for example, whenever you're in a fat state, like for example, if you just had a meal, whatever calories you're not burning right then get stored away with the aid of insulin. See, insulin is the storage hormone. So the pancreas produces insulin, like to lower blood sugar and to store away excess calories. See, unfortunately, when insulin levels are high, you're not burning fat. Insulin will prevent you from burning fat. You're in storage mode. But when you're in a fasted state, insulin levels are low. So that's when you're going to start burning a greater percent of body fat. Now, the third benefit I think is the most important. That's why I highlighted here in yellow. Fasting increases your insulin sensitivity. Okay, you may have heard people who are insulin resistant. Let's say, for example, unfortunately, you've been overweight for like 10 years. You may be pre-diabetic. What that means is that you're most likely insulin resistant. That means the pancreas is producing insulin, but it's just not working anymore. The cells are not responding to it. And that's when you wind up with so many metabolic type disorders like high blood pressure, diabetes, type 2 diabetes, maybe high cholesterol, fatty liver disease. So what you want to do is you want to increase your insulin sensitivity to improve your health. And there's probably no better way of doing that than fasting. When you're in a fasted state, you're keeping insulin levels low. So you're actually increasing your insulin sensitivity. So when you need insulin to work properly, it will. Now, the fourth benefit is that fasting can actually lower blood pressure. There's a study that talks about alternate day fasting, when you fast every other day, can dramatically lower blood pressure. But this is something you want to discuss with your doctor. If you have high blood pressure and you're thinking about fasting, definitely discuss it with your doctor. I'll put a link to the study below this video. Now, the fifth benefit is fasting can actually increase human growth hormone. I know a lot of people are concerned that if they fast, they're going to cannibalize their body. They're going to start burning like muscle. But when you get an increase in human growth hormone, it's going to maintain and possibly even increase your muscle mass. So fasting is a great way to increase your human growth hormone. Now, the sixth benefit is that fasting can actually lower triglycerides. And this is how this happens. When you're fasting, you're burning up stored energy, stored carbohydrates. So for example, your liver stores excess carbohydrates in the form of glycogen. Now, the liver can only hold maybe 200 to 400 calories, maybe 50 to 100 grams of carbohydrates, right? When the liver is full with carbohydrates, that means it just can't hold anymore. It takes carbohydrates and converts them into triglycerides, into fat. So for example, if you're eating a high carbohydrate type diet, you're overweight, you can have high triglycerides. But when you're fasting, what are you doing? You're dipping into stored carbohydrates and stored fat. So you're actually depleting the amount of stored glycogen in your liver. So your liver will not be producing those triglycerides. So in my opinion, a low carb and an intermittent fasting type approach is a great way to lower triglycerides. Now, the seventh benefit is an upregulation of autophagy. So autophagy means it's like cell cleansing, like weak and damaged organelles, like mitochondria get recycled within the body. Great for longevity, great for health. Some people feel that's the most important benefit of doing, say, extended type fasting. The eighth benefit is that fasting can reduce your risk of cancer. There was a great study done on women who had breast cancer who actually fasted just 13, 14 hours a night. And that dramatically lowered their reoccurrence of breast cancer. So there is some research out there that fasting is also good to reduce your risk of cancer. Now, the ninth benefit is fasting can reduce inflammation within the body. Those inflammatory markers that you may have seen when you get your blood work, actually when people fast regularly, their inflammation in their body really does go down. So fasting's great for reducing inflammation. Now, the 10th benefit is that fasting can possibly increase your longevity. And this is how I look at it. Just think, if you've lost weight, if you're at an optimal weight, if you've increased your insulin sensitivity, if you've upregulated autophagy, if you reduce your cancer risk, the chances of you living a longer, happier life are greatly increased. So in my opinion, intermittent fasting can definitely increase your longevity. Now, I recently put one of my personal training clients on a 4-week intermittent fasting program. I actually made a video about it. He lost about 14, 15 pounds in 4 weeks. If you want to get started with intermittent fasting, I think you'll find this video really helpful.